Welcome everybody to our next installment of Purposely. I'm so excited today to meet with two amazing ladies who are the co-founders of the WALT Institute. So with me, I have Dr. Elizabeth Pritchard. Hello, Elizabeth.
Hello,
Emily. And then I also have Christine Burns. Welcome.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for having us here.
No problems. I can't wait to hear more about your story and what you do and what inspired you to start such a wonderful organisation, the WALT Institute. So maybe we'll kick off with hearing a little bit about each of you and your background, and then how you guys met and decided to embark on this crazy adventure.
Crazy is right. It is crazy, actually. Cool. Alrighty, so I'm Christine Burns. I'm obviously in the leadership performance industry, and I work as a coach, consultant, and also as a former elite athlete. And so I'm co-founder and CEO of WALT Institute, and I've taught performance and authentic leadership skills to thousands of people around the world. I come from the whole thing of coaching in New Zealand School of Dance, sports institutes in New Zealand, worked with international teams and athletes, and also with universities, research institutes, and corporations as well. Now, typically we work with people in STEM, and that's science, technology, engineering, math, and medicine. And they have the challenge of not being able to speak up in meetings, not feeling heard about what it is that they want to get across. And they've got a lot of high demands in their roles as well that they need to perform at. So the key thing that I want to look at is being able to help them perform at their best, being able to keep them calm, being able to do what they do with clarity, and help them so that they don't get caught up in the system. Because when they do that, it has a massive impact on their earning ability and also their ability to get promotions within STEM as well.
Amazing. I thought I sensed a little New Zealand twang there from both of you, so that makes sense. So just that's amazing, because I think that will resonate a lot with some of our listeners who are millennials who do fall into that category of feeling like they sometimes can't speak up because some of the people they might work with label them as being young and inexperienced and haven't earned their stripes yet. So I'll be very interested to hear more about that. But out of curiosity, what did you do in the elite sports space? What was your thing?
I played hockey and indoor hockey for New Zealand. And I played indoor hockey for 13 years for New Zealand. So traveled around the world, basically did a full commitment year in, year out of playing indoor, outdoor, and not having breaks and all those kinds of things. So it was pretty full on. I took up hockey at a late age in my last year at school and went, anybody can give that a go. And then I gave it a go, and 2 years later I was in the New Zealand indoor team. So yeah.
Wow, you must have been pretty good then, and a bit of a natural.
Yeah, I'd always played a lot of sports, and I was always of the mindset that if I was going to do anything, I was going to absolutely commit to it. So that was another one of those things, really.
Amazing. So you're an all-in kind of person, which sounds like my kind of person.
Yep. Yeah.
Good for business.
So, Dr. Elizabeth, let's hear about your story. So you also sound like you've got a New Zealand accent. So did you meet over there or here?
Yes, we did. So my expertise is from the field of as a health practitioner, occupational therapist, and also researcher and educator. So I delve into the areas of leadership development a little bit more than leadership performance, like Christine. And I'm a published author in various academics journals around the world, and the co-founder and director of WALT Institute. So I've taught sort of thousands of managers, clinicians, researchers, and some entrepreneurs as well, and as well the art of authentic leadership. And love working with people on different research institutes, health services, corporations, anything that we sort of align with in what we do and who we be, And typically, again, like Christine said, we work with people in STEM. So that's, again, science, technology, engineering, math, and medicine. So we won't say that again. And that has quite a gambit of things that it covers as well. And so that's from people who work in offices, libraries, right through to those people who are lab technicians, heads of labs, scientists, professors, associate professors, all of those sort of things, right across the gambit of working in STEM. So it's like Christine said, it's about those people who are not really speaking up in meetings, who get passed over for promotion or project leads, or don't feel that they have that opportunity, put their hand up and go, oi, I have something to say, can you please listen to me? Because it's all about being heard and how we can learn those strategies around being heard more, being respected more, having those courageous conversations. And of course, all of that trickles down to our earning capacity, our promotional capacity, and our satisfaction in life, basically.
Awesome. It sounds very interesting. I'm sure there's a lot of people who fall into that category. I speak to a lot of people who definitely have those issues. So tell us a little bit about the WALT Institute and what it's all about, because what does WALT stand for, just out of interest?
All right. So WALT stands for Woman Authentic Leadership Training. And we came up with the idea. We were actually sitting with our mentors one day and
having a glass of wine and cheese.
Sitting outside at their place. And so one of our mentors, he's a professor and he's extremely well known globally. And then also his wife as well. And she's very high up in the training and development area here in Melbourne. And we were chatting about different names and things. And he said, oh, hang on a minute. What about this? And so we chatted about the whole idea of WALT, and now it has become where people do actually say, why don't you just get WALT Institute in, or why don't you go and talk to WALT? And so it's become nice and handy that people don't have to have this big, long, kind of name, or there's nothing, weird and freaky about it. It's just like WALT Institute, and it works well with institutes and universities as well. And so it was that thing where we decided where we wanted to bring, both of us had been doing similar sorts of roles prior, and we were like, oh, we can't work together, we do things differently, and you work with sports people and you work with clinicians, and it was like, dude, we're doing the same thing with different people. We got the same intention, we come to the same end point, and we do it slightly different. Well, we do it differently, I always bring my sports background, and like hard yards and get in there and give it a go. And then Elizabeth has that real evidence base, that real strong, sort of systems theory approach to things as well, and has massive skills to be able to get more out of people than they thought they could. And so we thought, hey, hang on a minute, we could actually do really well together here. And that's why we went for it. And that's hence why it's authentic leadership and not traditional leadership.
Yeah. And I think we complement each other really well with our skills, our energy, the way we do what we do. And sometimes we're sort of like almost good cop, bad cop in our coaching and training. We don't do it on purpose, but it's like
I can see it.
Yeah, somebody will be hard-nosed on something and really push people's buttons with their permission, because we only coach with permission. And so we ask questions and we get them to delve beneath the surface, beneath the BS and the bullshit, as well as the BS belief systems. And so we get people to delve beneath that, and that's sort of the art of what we do, and that's what we passionately love doing. And and one might go, I think they need a little bit more on this tangent, and so we'll come in on a different tangent with them.
Awesome. So who's good cop, who's bad cop?
It changes.
We change. People often think I'm the bad cop, but I'm like, seriously.
Yesterday, we were coaching some people in one of our programs, and one of them said, whoa, Elizabeth, you're a bit harsh today. And I was like, that's what you needed today, people. What are you going to do about it? And they're like, oh, cool, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And so often we need that disruption, because otherwise we just keep going along on the same path, and we don't have that disruption to another mindset or another thought process.
I love it. You're talking my language. So authentic leadership is kind of a new thing that's really exploded over the last however many years. So why do you think it's so important that people are authentic in their leadership style?
Yes, really good question. Because people often think, I'm authentic, I'm a bully, you know, or I'm authentic, I can wear what I like and everybody else can get stuffed. And it's like, that's not being authentic, people. That's not what it's about. So authentic leadership is about being really self-aware, knowing yourself, knowing your own personal beliefs, your values, what trips you up, what doesn't trip you up, knowing how to respond to other people in your team and who you communicate with. And so it's that self-awareness. It's also self-regulation. So it's not having the high highs of, yeah, everything's really cool, it's going really well, blah, blah, blah. And then the low lows of like, oh my gosh, I'm so depressed, everything's just so hard and so big. It's being able to self-regulate and we all have ups and downs, absolutely. So they all always happen, but it's being able to decrease those high highs and low lows into more even keel. So that's self-regulation. Then there's another component which is about psychological capital. So to be authentic, you have to have psychological capital, which is about hope, efficacy, resilience, and optimism. And without those four things, psychological capital is at the beck and call of situations and circumstances. Yep. And then the final part of authentic leadership as we teach it is that you need to have agency. And that's the do. Less chit-chat, as Christine always says, less chit-chat, more do. So agency is about taking action. Yeah. You can't just build up knowledge because it just sits on a shelf and gets rusty, gets dusty, and doesn't even work, because you have to take action. Otherwise, the knowledge is innate.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. So do you only work with women, or do you do stuff with men as well? Like, what's obviously your name?
We work with anybody, and I mean our main focus is on women, specifically for the idea of wanting to enhance women into those higher levels of leadership and higher levels of executive and STEM. So that's our main focus. When we have workshops or anything like that, webinars, when we do free webinars, when we do workshops, when we do any of those types of things, we always have about 20 to 25% males that are there as well. And so we're not saying men are not welcome in it. Our general target focus is to enhance women in leadership and get them to those higher levels. And sometimes that needs to have their male bosses come along with them, or have allies who are males who will actually cheer them along and who will sponsor them and then push them higher as well. So the focus is to get women into those higher levels, hence why the focus is there. But again, it's great having the males in the workshops or online, webinars or whatever it is that we do.
And I think it's interesting to note also that there's many men out there who feel similar. They're afraid to speak up. Yeah. They get overwhelmed with the demands of their role, and they think that they're not good enough to go for a promotion. So there's many males in the world of STEM that have those same challenges. Yeah. And our strategies work. They're not gender specific. Our strategies are based on evidence-based positive psychology and the science of happiness and well-being. And they work for anybody, any age, any gender. Yeah. They absolutely totally work, and they're simple and easy to put into place in sort of like 2, 3, 5 minute chunks, because that's what we have to do in this day. Yeah. It's like, how can we pull something in that we can do for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and it makes this big difference and changes our focus.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got very short attention spans these days. I'm just going to segue to another kind of topic. What do you guys think about what's going on in the world right now in regards to, particularly Australia, these allegations of pretty serious sexual assault in Parliament and all these women marching? And do you feel like we've taken any steps forward in that regard? And what are your thoughts about what's going on right now? Because it's a pretty hot topic for women. So I'll be interested in your...
It is a hot topic. It's freaking disgusting to start with. And it's like, let's just put it out there. It's totally unacceptable in any workplace whatsoever. And we work with people who put up with things like this as well. We work with people who are bullied and harassed. Somebody the other day was sharing how their manager came up to them at their desk, so encroached into their space and snapped a ruler in front of their face and told them how their job was shit. And it's like, and then there's other people who had a meeting. She's pretty high up in her organisation. She had a meeting with her boss, and he sat in that whole leg apart male macho thing. And he brought his chair closer, and he was very threatening sexually for her. And so it happens. It happens in any, I believe it happens in any corporation, any organisation. I don't think any of us are immune to it. I think we need to be better at recognising it and not pretending it's not happening. We need to stand up against it for other people.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we do in authentic leadership training as well. It's like, you need to stand up. You need to have that voice. Where is your voice? If it's something that goes against your values, then you need to have the confidence to go, oh, hang on a minute. I don't think that's right. Maybe we need to da-da-da-da-da. Or if somebody's getting a bollocking in their office or and by that I'm meaning being yelled at. just to clarify that one.
Clarify the Kiwi slang. Sorry.
That's all right. I get it.
At a meeting or in an office, it's like, why can't we get up from our desk and knock on the door and go, excuse me, is everything all right in here? Why do we go, oh my gosh, somebody's getting in trouble. Oh my gosh, oh, that's terrible. And everybody cringes, but nobody speaks. And it's that whole thing about Me Too. It's that whole thing about, are we standing together in this world? Or are we saying, you're worth it, you're not worth it, I'm worth it, I'm not worth it? What are we actually saying when we look at that whole thing of discrimination, harassment, bullying?
Yeah, it's pretty sad though. I think that people are terrified to say anything because traditionally people who speak up get vilified or asked to leave or blamed. So it's not an easy thing to do, to have the courage to put your job on the line.
No.
So what's your advice to people who are in that situation? How could they deal with it in the best way possible to avoid that, the fallout, I guess?
Yeah, you can't avoid the fallout. To be honest, I mean, I'd like to be honest. I'm the first one that's gonna get up and say something. I've heard people having an argument in the office next door, and nobody was doing anything. So I went right around the corner and was like, they were all like, "Oh," I'm like, "Dude, why are you not saying anything?" And they're like, "Oh, we can't." Okay, I will. I knocked on the door and asked what the hell was going on, and I didn't care what happened. What my thing for me at that point in time was to go, I'm going to step in because what is happening right here, right now is not right.
Yeah.
And whatever fallout happens, I'll deal with that when it happens. Because then if I keep worrying that I'm not going to say anything because then I'll lose my job, so I'm not going to say anything, then I keep coming down and I keep lowering my confidence. I keep lowering my resilience. I keep lowering my ability to ever have any courageous conversations with people. So, and we always talk about it, and we laugh about it. It's like, it's time to put your big girl and boy undies on and get in there and do something and say something.
Yeah.
And it's the doing something at that point in time will change whatever's happening. If you can get in there at that point in time and even if you just burst open the door and just stand there, it's gonna disrupt what people are doing at that point in time. Yeah. And then you can think about it and go, oh shit, I'm out of here. Or whatever it is, slam the door on your way out. They've all just been disrupted, and it will change the energy. It will change what's going on. And it's that thing to have to back yourself, because so if I back myself, then other people are going to see me backing myself as well. And then they're going to be like, I can do this. So if I step up and I say something and I role model that behavior, and that's how I lead, then other people are going to be like, oh, that is acceptable. I can do that. And then what you're doing is lifting everybody at that point.
Yeah.
So then everybody has a voice. Everybody builds their confidence. Everybody comes together as a team unit. And it might be a team within a bigger organization. Then you always have people who have your back as well. So if something does happen, you've got other people that can have a voice for you. You might not have the voice for yourself at that time to go, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job. I don't know what's going to happen to me. You've got a unit around you that can support you and help to keep you up as well.
Yeah, I was going to say that as well. It's like it's really important to work out who your allies are.
Oh, yeah.
And when you've got at least one or two allies, then it's so much easier to stand together. And so work out who your allies are. Yeah,
that's amazing. I love that. I love the way that you describe that. When you don't say anything, you're taking yourself down. Essentially, you're denigrating yourself and making yourself feel like shit, and then it just perpetuates. It's like when somebody does something to annoy you, and you don't say anything. You just hold it inside, and then it festers. Whether it's your husband, your kid, you need to call it. You need to have those really difficult conversations.
Yeah.
And there's a way that you can do it that doesn't have to be awful or confrontational or yelling at them.
Yeah,
you just sit them down and say, hey, I've observed this thing and it made me feel really uncomfortable, and I'd prefer if you didn't do that anymore.
Yeah,
absolutely. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah. And so some of our trainings, we actually around courageous conversations, we have a courageous conversation script because people were getting stuck. They didn't know what to say or how to start the conversation. So we do training around that specifically, and we have a script that some people have emailed back and gone, oh my gosh, I just put this sentence here in an email and I got an absolutely different response than I have ever done before. That was so useful. And somebody else went, I said that in this situation here and it didn't escalate. And then somebody the other day said, with my partner, that they said something that upset me. I've been learning what you've been talking about, because we're talking a lot in the last month around conflict and how to deal with conflict more effectively. And she said, I remember that whole thing that you said when conflict is this, two people coming together with all their egos, with competition or whatever. And it's like, if you're like this and you just don't go back, then it just fizzles out. And she said, oh my gosh, I did that with my husband the other day. He said something, I was just about ready to go, and she went, no, I remember, I'm learning this now from our coaching training programs. And she's going, I'm not going to go back and I'm going to let it ride. And he came back later and apologized. And the conflict was de-escalated because of the strategies that this person had taken on board and taken action on. And that's just beautiful.
This is awesome.
It is. Imagine teaching this stuff to kids. I mean, I often think about like what we do as coaches and trainers and facilitators. We're quite often rehabilitating people who have these really unhealthy learned behaviours that society teaches you. Like, we tell kids to be quiet, stop being dramatic. But if we taught them from a very young age how to have these courageous conversations, how to deal with conflict, how to tell people if they've done something that makes them feel uncomfortable, instead of like telling them to be quiet because it's annoying, then we wouldn't probably have these issues. Like, it all starts in childhood, particularly with women as well. Particularly with women. It's like, I find that a lot of females who are in leadership positions really struggle to be authentic leaders because they're so worried about coming across as masculine or aggressive or bitchy. Because when women are strong and they say no and they stick up for themselves, they're labelled as being, oh, you're a bit much, you need to tone it down. Whereas we'd never say that to a man.
No, exactly. And it's really interesting because they've done these amazing studies in Harvard Business School around as well, around that exact same thing, Emily, that they have given a resume, a CV, to two different classes, and they've asked them which person they would employ. And the only thing they changed was the person's name. So one was a female recognizable name, and one was a male recognizable name. And that was the only thing they changed. And all the other words were exactly the same. Their experience was exactly the same. Their qualifications, everything else was exactly the same. And the resounding people in both groups, which were mixed, male and female, they said that they would employ the man but not the woman, because she's out for herself. She doesn't look like she's going to be a team player, and they don't want to work with somebody like that. And the man, they said, yep, this is cool because he's showing strong leadership and he knows what he wants and he's going to bring the team with him. absolute BS, and proven that that's our own sort of psychological set and our social perception, which is bullshit.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, I've been told on numerous occasions that I'm very masculine and that I have a lot of masculine energy, which is just, I find it quite bizarre. And I mean, I've worked in a lot of male-dominated environments, and I wonder whether it's a learned kind of style to deal with that environment that I was in, where I was a lot of the time the only female in the room. I would go to events and be one of the only females there. I mean, my background's in HR, and I've worked for, Holden and big companies like that, Wesfarmers. But how do women navigate that? Because there's a lot of young female leaders who are emerging at the moment, and it's a minefield because exactly what you've just said, there is this perception that if women are strong women, that they're a bitch, or like they get, they get labelled as, oh, you're a bit manly. You need to tone down your behaviour. And it's just, we talk about authentic leadership. How do women really step into that and be confident in who they are so that they can be effective and not be chopped down by, this, I don't know if it's a glass ceiling, what would you call it? This,
I mean, like,
put up in front of it.
A lot of it is, I mean, there's a few ways to look at it. A lot of it is if we have confidence in ourselves, and so we have those high levels of self-esteem, and we back ourselves and we trust ourselves, then we're able to take those first steps in there. If we don't back ourselves and we don't trust ourselves, then we're going to think that we need to fit into other people's boxes to be accepted. So therefore we allow everything external to us to be the thing that accepts us, or to go, okay, if I act this way, then I'll be accepted in there. If I do this and say this according to tradition or according to what happens here, then I'll be accepted and I'll be approved of. So therefore I'll get what I think I want. Whereas if we're able to say, hang on a minute, and there's someone that we're coaching at the moment, and her initial thing was like, okay, how do I get the promotion? Because this is what they want. It's like, yeah, but who are you? What do you bring to that role? And so it's that thing about who you be. And so when we're able to bring our true self forward and we identify things, and there's a little bit, it's not so much playing the game, but if you can find the commonalities, if you can find some of the wording, or you connect on that common ground with someone with experiences, likes, you do what I do. Oh my gosh, we have the same interest. How that's awesome. So I like you. And then when you tell me that you've got this and this and this, I'm like, okay, you're still pretty cool though, because we have the same commonality. Yeah. And it's not playing the game, but it is kind of, it's like, I'll play my game, literally, I'll play my game within whatever that environment is. And I'll watch and I'll listen for words. I'll watch and I'll listen for the way that people do things. And it's that ability to be really observant and really aware. So not just self-aware. And that's where we have this thing of, being able to have the self-awareness, the self-regulation, and have that next level. It's not just emotional, it's not just having the emotional intelligence. It's beyond that. It's more than that, because then I can pick up what's being said, the types of, tone of voices, the types of dress, that kind of stuff. And it's, I'll go into a corporate place and I'll sort of dress corporate-y, but I'll always wear a funky pair of shoes, and I'll also wear whatever my latest watch is that I've bought, because I like watches and I like funky pairs of shoes. So I might I'll fit in, and you'll go, oh, yes, good, very good. You're dressed appropriately. Look at the shoes, look at the watch, and it's that kind of thing. So I will still bring me to the situation, but I will look for those common factors where I can go bang, bang, and have that connection.
And I think the other thing too around that is that we need to be trained and develop the mastery of saying other people's opinion is none of my business. And that's pretty huge, because
It
we
is.
have been we've been programmed.
Yeah. We have been programmed
since little ease.
Yeah.
That if you do that, I don't approve. If you do that, I approve. And you get goodies, you get attention, and we all seek love and attention.
Yeah.
And so they are motivators for us. And it's like if we don't feel like we fit in or we don't have that connection or love, it's like, oh my gosh, something's wrong. Yeah. However, some of the most amazing leaders in the world, female leaders in the world, have got to that stage of going, yep, there's always going to be people who don't approve. There's always going to be people who don't like what I do. And this is who I be, like Christine was saying. Yeah. This is who I be. From the inside, it's be, do, and then have, in the words of Tony Robbins. It's like we need to know who we be before we can go into things. And when we know who we be, we are so much more confident, and not in that arrogant, egotistical way. No. Because the people who get shat on and chopped at the knees are often the egotistical ones. Yeah. So they're often the bullheaded female egotistical ones, not the authentic leadership ones who are strong when they need to be, vulnerable when they need to be, open when they need to be, closed and focused when they need to be.
Yeah, they're human.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
I love it. I could talk to you guys all day because we share similar passions and ethoses, but what is next for WALT Institute? We might finish up with this. What's the future look like? Where do you want to be in the next few years, and what's the focus going to be? Tell me where you're going.
Okay, so we have this amazing mission. We're on a mission. We're on a mission to change a couple of things. So our vision is to build a global STEM community of authentic leaders. Now, authentic leadership, as I said, is not the traditional side of leadership, and most of the leadership trainings that happen in STEM across the world are more based around the traditional side than the authentic leadership side. And so we're on a mission to turn it on its head. We're on the mission to create a revolution of authentic leadership rebels who actually explode their rebel talents throughout the world, and they know how to treat people. They respect everybody, regardless of age, gender, skill base, or anything else. And they actually just begin to rock the whole world of STEM in relation to building teams, because that's exactly what's missing.
Absolutely.
And so we
That's
do
amazing.
coaching and training programs online, in person, in organisations, one-on-one. We have all sorts of medium that we work with people. Yep. Some things are free. Some of our high-cost clients, high ticket programs are just incredible because the people get so much growth and personal development and achievement out of it, and ultimately they get promotion, they get looked towards to get more grant funding, and they're just growing and growing their income, their satisfaction, and their careers. It's awesome.
Amazing. I feel like we have very similar missions, because Generation Us is all about creating the next generation of purpose-led leaders. So we're on the same path, it would seem, which is good. There's a lot of alignment there. But if people want to work with you as an individual, is that something that they could do? Because a lot of the people listening are probably going, yes, I want this. I want to sign me up. And I heard that there's some free stuff that you do, which is also an amazing thing to give back to people and give people a taste of what you do. So how can people find you, and do you have an offer that you would like to put up there for some people who might be interested?
Well, we've got, easy place to find us is our website. So it's waltinstitute.com. And you'll find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and that's all as at WALT Institute as well. The freebie we've got coming up very soon is the 10th of April at 10 a.m. AEST, and that's a webinar about resetting the boundaries of stress. And so that's, we throw it out there. So that's the 90 minute advanced masterclass that we've got there on the 10th of April. So that's 10 a.m. AEST, so Melbourne time. And the other, we've got several different areas to look at too, is that we have a monthly membership program, and people can go and purchase that on our website, and that has 47, I think, different trainings in it at the moment. And then we have a monthly training Q&A. So that happens for people. So if people are, and I hate the word time poor, but if people are pushed for time,
that's better.
and then Inner Circle is a great option for that.
Exclusive trainings, only open to those people.
Yeah, so the stuff in there is totally exclusive, and they always get first dibs on any other programs or anything we have. I guess our sort of flagship programs that we have is our Your Authentic Self, and that's an 8-week program. And so there's 2 trainings per week for 8 weeks. And in that is this massive amount to build your confidence, your resilience, teach you how to have courageous conversations, get you to jump inside and find your strengths, polish off all those things that we've hidden away for years and years and years, and have that ability to go, oh my gosh, this is me. And I'm confident to be me. And I know, and now I can keep bouncing forward, not just keep bouncing back. And so that 8-week program, there's the information on our website about it as well. And if people want to know more about that 8-week program, they can get in touch with us at info@waltinstitute.com. And I'm happy to jump on a call and chat through things and just find out who, what, where, when, why, and how, all those types of things.
Absolutely.
I love it. It sounds very exciting. I kind of want to sign up myself. But anyway.
Do it, Emily.
Oh God, I love it.
We also run challenges in our closed Facebook page. We have a closed Facebook page called Leading Authentically with Elizabeth and Christine. And within that we do Facebook challenges. Oh,
I keep coughing.
I've
got asthma. No. This weird weather is stirring up all of this. Stuff, thunderstorms. But thank you so much for your time and sharing with us what you do. And I'm sure some people got some great tidbits and a piece of advice there. I think a lot of people would resonate with what we're talking about. It's a really common problem. So if anyone is looking for support around courageous, authentic leadership, look up the WALT Institute. We're also going to share all their handles when we publish this episode. But I'm sure we will talk again. But thank you very much for your time and also your passion. I really love it. I love how passionate you are about helping people. It really shone through. So I really want to give you guys a big thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us here today, Emily, and sharing our passion, because it is. It's our purpose.
It is a passion.
Our purpose and our passion. We just love doing what we do and giving people value.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
You can certainly tell. But we will share your website and all the other places that you can find them. And thank you for listening and have a great day.
Thank you.